So today's conversation is all about how you can make a bigger impact with your video content, but you can use everything that I'm talking about also with really any piece of content. And this goes outside of the obvious strategies. Okay. All right. So let's jump in. The first thing that I want to share with you is the need to overcome the fear of being on the camera. And the reason why you have fear of being on the camera, and I'm sharing this with you because I've been there. I'm on camera now and it's comfortable for me. This is literally like brushing my teeth, but it hasn't always been that way. Like I used to be terrified of the camera. What's interesting is that I grew up as a dancer. I competitively danced, but I was also super stage fright. I was terrified of the stage. And once I got on the stage and I saw people's expressions in the audience and, the smiles, and I could tell that they were really enjoying it, that's when I overcame that fear. And each show that I did, each dance that I did, I still had that fear. But hitting the stage and knowing that I was entertaining and that I was bringing smiles to people's faces, that shift in my mindset that it wasn't about me and it was more about them, that's what helped me to continue with that dance in the moment. And so I want you guys to kind of think of that as well when you're showing up on camera, whether it's live or recorded, is that it's not about you. So we have this fear of judgment. We have this feel of not feeling like we're expert enough or whatever else it is. And what I can tell you are the things that you notice, people don't notice. If you feel like you're not expert enough, then you really have no business in selling what you're selling, right? So you have to believe in yourself. There needs to be this belief, because without believing in yourself, other people aren't going to believe in yourself. So it starts with you. And so we need to tackle these fears like head on. And for some, it's a longer journey than for others. For me, it took me some time. It took me a lot of sweat, like literal sweat. And I shared this before, literal sweat under my arms to actually get through feeling this way. But it's something that needs to actually happen. So there's so many people that want, and many of you want like the latest strategy and hack and tactic for video, for reels. What are the trends that are happening? I'm going to tell you this right now. If you don't tackle like what's on the inside, it doesn't matter the strategy, the hack, or the tactic. It's not going to work. And the same happens. The same concept is for how you write copy in your captions. Copy are like the words that you write, right? How you write your captions, how you share content. So if you are constantly like sharing a product photo, if you sell product, you're not digging deep into you. Nobody cares about your product. They care about what's the end result of the product. They don't even need to see a picture of the product. If you are selling high ticket, you're really selling certainty that what you do and how you help people is going to solve a problem for someone. But if you're not putting yourself out there in that way, no one's going to believe it. And it's not about convincing people. It's about aligning yourself with your values, your mission, and your vision. And then the people that align with that as well are going to be attracted to you. And that's really where the connections start and the conversations start. But we got to overcome this fear. So it's not just on camera. I know I'm talking a lot about video, but I'm talking about really everything. All right. And so one way that you can do this is by, like, say that you're a business coach, for example, and you are initially hesitant to show up on camera, do it anyways. And talk about your journey about showing up on camera. Like share how that experience has been for you. And when you can talk about that, it just adds this like human level to your brand and to your content that is going to surpass whatever any competitor, and I say competitor in quote, is doing. It's really going to help you stand out. And it's going to allow you also to resonate deeply with your connections, with your audience, which is then going to turn into increased engagement. Okay. All right. So the second thing is you really want to have a growth mindset for continuous improvement. We all need to remember that we are constantly learning. I am constantly learning. I am in somebody's workshop this week. Now, am I watching live? No, I haven't had a chance to yet because I actually have a flourishing company. Like we're busy, right? But I am still constantly learning on the back end on my own time. I am learning new things always. I don't know everything, even though I have been in this space for 15 years. I have been doing some form of marketing and advertising since right out of college, and I graduated in 2000. Okay. So for 24 years. And so that doesn't mean that I know everything. I even share and teach things to my mentors, and I have my own mentors. So I have my own business coaches myself, and they do business and sales coaching and marketing coaching. And I have my own, right? So I'm constantly learning and I'm always fostering this growth mindset. And so when we're talking about video, I would love for you to also embrace that every video is a new learning opportunity for you. It gives you new insights on your performance. It's going to allow you to experiment in different ways. So the more that you practice, the more comfortable you're going to get with showing up on video in different formats, whether it's a longer video like I'm doing today, maybe it's a reel, a short video for like 30 seconds. And it allows you to become more of a master at your own content. Mastery takes 10,000 hours. It takes 10,000 hours to actually master something. That's why we got to keep doing things, right? And be repetitive, because it takes time. And so fostering a growth mindset for improvement is going to allow you to do that. The third thing is sharing transformations, sharing your story, sharing your clients' stories, sharing experiences that you're having throughout the day. So if I'm not looking to become popular or viral. That is not how I work. And I don't need to. We have a very, very healthy business with a very small audience. You do not have to go viral and do trendy things in order to have a healthy business, especially when we're talking about social media. What you do need to do, especially with how marketing is changing, literally it's changing today. It's been changing now since COVID. Really, I would say that's when things really started to take a whole turn. But now that people are out and about, they're not stuck at home anymore. They are more savvy because they bought all of these courses and all of these programs during COVID, right? They were stuck at home. Now that people are actually out, they are paying more attention. They're also more savvy, and they are not looking to hire to work with someone that is just looking to be popular or to go viral. They're looking for somebody that they feel they can align with, that they can connect with, that they can resonate with. And sharing transformational stories to inspire action, especially using video to do that, is the way to do it. So you want to use these platforms when you're using video to share both your personal journey and your success stories of your clients and success stories of yours. Like highlighting those different mindset shifts are crucial as well. Sharing case studies is a really good one. And so if you can show up on video consistently and have a cadence, set a cadence for yourself to go maybe live like I do once a week, and maybe in between do 2 to 3 short videos, like 30-second short videos or a minute long short video, just sharing one little example, one story that is sharing the success that a client had, like the before and after of a client, or something that happened with you. That is going to go much further than doing all of this trendy craziness that honestly causes overwhelm and doesn't do anything for your business. Here's a really great example of what I mean by like sharing a client journey. So let's say that you are some sort of coach or consultant, right? And let's say you had a corporate job. Let's pretend you had a corporate job. You could share your journey of transitioning from a corporate job to being an entrepreneur. And what I mean by sharing is just telling the story. Like tell the story in like 30 seconds or a minute. Or if you want to do something longer, but these are more like deep dives that I do inside of here. But let's say you're going to do this on your personal profile, maybe for like 10 or 15 minutes, do a live. I wouldn't go much longer than that because people's attention span gets lost. But that's a great way to share your journey. You could also do feature interviews with clients, like interview style. So you're both on a video, or you could also just do a short video sharing, your experience working with a client. And then each video have a call to action that encourages your connections or your audience to want to learn how this can happen for them too, or maybe to join a workshop or to join a masterclass or whatever it is that you have going on. So the next thing I want to talk about, some ways of making an impact with your videos. So I just talked about strategies, right? Strategies outside of like the obvious strategies. These were more practical strategies to be able to convert with video, high converting video, right? So number 1 was overcoming the fear of being on the camera. Number 2 is having a growth mindset. And then number 3 was sharing transformational stories. So let's dig a little bit deeper and talk more about like, how do you craft these stories? All right. you want to think of stories. You're not making up stories. Like you are really thinking about things that are happening throughout your day, things that have happened in your past, things that have happened while working with clients, maybe times that you've been on a call, even with a prospect. And you want to tell stories that connect the journey, their journey or your journey to what you do as a business owner, to the problem that you solve. And what this does is it really humanizes your brand and it makes your message much more relatable to your audience. So there's a difference between saying or promoting something like the workshop that I'm promoting. I'm promoting the workshop for next week, but I'm not just saying, join me in this workshop because we're going to talk about blank. No, I'm actually sharing a story when I talk about the workshop. And the story is, do you feel or have you ever felt like you are constantly on this hamster wheel trying to show up on social media? There's constant change. And so my story is like telling a real life story that's happening. There's constant change in the marketing world. Literally by the second, things are changing. There's lots of clutter, lots of noise, and it takes time out of your day to show up in a way that's going to be impactful. And then you get crickets, right? Doesn't that stink? I've been there, but I want to shortcut the amount of time it's taking you because I've made all the mistakes. And I want to show you what to do without those mistakes. And that's exactly what I'm going to do in my upcoming workshop. So rather than just telling people, here's my workshop, here's what we're going to do every day, sign up here, I'm actually giving you like real life story as to what you're probably feeling and why this workshop is going to be game changing for you. Okay. Like I said, this way of writing content or sharing content in video really humanizes your brand. The second thing is we really need to stay consistent. And here's the thing. If you're not consistent in your messaging and in showing up with your messaging, there is no reason why your clients or ideal clients should be consistent with you. We are going to get what we put in, right? And this isn't just for marketing. I mean, this is really for everything in life, just like in relationships. If it's not like a two-way street and only one person is working on the relationship is going to like split, right? I actually have used this before. I've called it's like a dance of tango, but we need to be consistent with our message. So we want to ensure that every piece of content that we put out there, video or, regular posts, aligns with your core messaging so that you're positioning it yourself in a way that is reinforcing your brand identity and it's allowing your audience to know what to expect from you, which then is fostering trust and credibility. And what I see a lot of people do is they'll do a video like once or maybe twice in a week, and then they don't do a video again for like 3 weeks. Or they're posting every day for like a week because they watched some training, maybe one of my trainings, and then they don't post again for like another month, right? No, it must be consistent and the message too. And so without consistency, you're just not going to get seen. Not to mention, without being consistent, the algorithm is not going to feel that you are valuable enough for them to take up space with your content. And that's just a matter of fact. And then the third thing is there needs to be engagement through the value that you provide. What I mean by this is educational content, actionable advice, answering questions. Like one of my favorite hacks, if you want like a true hack to creating content that people actually really care about and want to consume and want to engage with, is to write down 10 to 20 frequently asked questions that you get asked and do a video on those or write, a piece of content on that. There's nothing more valuable than actually answering your ideal client's questions and concerns because that's what they want, right? But we tend to put out there what we feel they need when they don't know that they need that yet. We need to actually draw them in with the questions that they're asking. I'll give you a quick example of that. So for example, Q&A sessions, just like my workshop, and we have been sending personal messages via Messenger. And at the end of my message, I ask you, is there anything specific that you are, stuck on when it comes to social media that you would like help on? Because I want to make sure that I'm actually going to be answering these questions in the workshop. I've got my outline. I know what I'm going to be sharing every single day and what we're going to be doing, but that could totally change if I'm getting questions that don't pertain to what my content says, right? Because there's no point in me doing a workshop and sharing all this content that's not going to be valuable. I want to make sure that it's valuable. So Q&A sessions are really great. I do a brand audit, a social media brand audit. And during that call, I'm not doing a lot of the talking. I'm listening to you because I want to hear what are your concerns with your business? Where do you feel that you are struggling? And then based off of that, I give you personalized tips. So you could also offer complimentary coaching calls. Maybe it's a mini coaching call. And what this does is it really demonstrates your expertise, but it also gives your audience the feel that you have this willingness to support them. And that also enhances your credibility and your trustworthiness. So I hope that was helpful, guys. And that's about it for today. All right. So have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next week. Bye, guys.